So, reading from Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 6, and text 32 until 38. So I'll just read the translations, and there are some short purports also, and then we will focus on the last verse. So then, text 32. O Maharaj Parikshit, chastiser of enemies, the demigods and the demons thereafter made an armistice between them. Then, with great enterprise, they arranged to produce nectar as proposed by Lord Indra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Samvidam is significant in this verse. The demigods and the demons both agree to stop fighting, at least for the time being, and endeavor to produce nectar. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur notes this connection. Samvit yudhe pratigyanam achare namni toshane sambhashane kriyakare sanketa gyanayor api. The word samvit is variously used to mean in fighting, in promising, for satisfying, in addressing, by practical action, indication, and knowledge. Text 33. Translation. Thereafter, with great strength, the demons and demigods, who were very powerful and who had long stout arms, uprooted Mandara mountain. Crying very loudly, they brought it toward the ocean of milk. Text 34. Because of conveying the great mountain for a long distance, King Indra, Maharaj Bali, and the other demigods and the demons became fatigued. Being unable to carry the mountain, they left it on the way. Text 35. The mountain known as Mandara, which is extremely heavy, being made of gold, fell and smashed many demigods and demons. Purport. By constitution, gold is heavier than stone. Since Mandara mountain was made of gold and was therefore heavier than stone, the demigods and demons could not properly carry it to the ocean of milk. Text 36. The demigods and demons were frustrated and disheartened, and their arms, thighs, and shoulders were broken. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who knows everything, appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda. Text 37. Observing that most of the demons and the demigods had been crushed by the falling of the mountain, the Lord glanced over them and brought them back to life. Thus they became free from grief, and they even had no bruises on their bodies. Now text 38. So please repeat. Girim Charopya Garude Hastine Nakena Lilaya Aruhya Prayaya Abdhim Surasura Ganair Vritaha Girim Charopya Garude Hastine Naika Kena Lilaya Aruhya Prayaya Abdhim Surasura Ganair Vritaha Girim Charopya Garude Hastine Naike Nalilaya Aruhya Prayaya Abdhim Surasura Ganair Vritaha Girim charopya garude hastine naike nalilaya aruhya prayayap abdhim sura suraganair vritaha Mataji's. Girim, the mountain. Cha, also. Aropya, placing. Garuda, on the back of Garuda. Hastena, by the hand. Ekena, one. Lilaya, very easily, as his pastime. Aruhya, getting on. Prayayau, he went. Abdhim, to the ocean of milk. Sura Asura Ganaihi, by the demigods and asuras. Vritaha, surrendered. Surrounded, sorry. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord very easily lifted the mountain with one hand and placed it on the back of Garuda. Then he too got on the back of Garuda and went to the ocean of milk, surrounded by the demigods and demons. Purport. Here is proof of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is above everyone. There are two classes of living entities, the demons and the demigods, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above them both. The demons believe in the chance theory of creation, whereas the demigods believe in creation by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The omnipotence of the Supreme Lord is proved here, for simply with one hand he lifted Mandara mountain, the demigods and demons placed them on the back of Garuda and brought them to the ocean of milk. Now, the demigods, the devotees, would immediately accept this incident, knowing that the Lord can lift anything, however heavy it may be. But although demons were also carried along with the demigods, demons, upon hearing of this incident, would say that it is mythological. But if God is all powerful, why would it be difficult for him to lift a mountain? Since he is floating innumerable places, planets, with many hundreds of thousands of Mandara mountains, why can he lift one of them with his hand? This is not mythology, but the difference between the believers and the faithless is that the devotees accept the incidents mentioned in the Vedic literature to be true, whereas the demons simply argue and label all these historical incidents mythology. Demons would prefer to explain that everything happens in the cosmic creation takes place by chance, but demigods or devotees never consider anything to be chance. Rather, they know that everything is arranged, is an arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference between the demigods and the demons. So, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada makes very important points here that, well, what is the difference between the demigods and the demons? And then, no, he makes synonymous as between the demigods and devotees. No, sometimes we wonder, well, who are these demigods? But they are devotees because they are the suras. They are surrendered to some extent. Sometimes there are difficulties, but everybody goes through some difficulties. Even, Lord Indra sometimes has his own times when he does have difficulty. But the Lord shows him who is the boss, and then Indra immediately understands. The demigods do understand. They want to accept it. They have no problem with that. Now, the demons, those are those who don't want to accept it. So the demons are not really necessarily the innocent, ignorant ones. They don't want to accept it. And a demon doesn't mean that he is one with horns and they call him Lucifer, right? That's not necessarily like that. A demon is a person who has demoniac qualities. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very elaborately describes what are the demoniac and what are the divine qualities. So somehow it's expected by the Lord, Guru, the Sadhu, the Shastra, that the devotees follow the path of the divine nature. So trying to develop the divine qualities. And based on that, then the devotees have closer to understand the Krishna consciousness. On the other hand, those who may have great learning, but if they don't accept the Lord as the cause of everything, as the Lord of everything and everyone, then they have difficulty. But by the Maya's arrangement, they are made to believe that they know everything. They have no problem, that everything is up to their arrangement. Now there is one nice story which Prabhupada used to say. That was Narada Muni and the cobbler. And so Narada Muni then he goes for a visit. He just goes to visit Lord Vishnu. And on the way, then he meets a Brahmana. And the Brahmana, he sees Narada Muni, he pays his obeisances, give him some water or something, little to eat. And he inquires, where are you heading? And Narada Muni said, I'm going to visit Lord Vishnu. Oh, really? Such a great opportunity. May you ask a question on my behalf? Oh, why not? I have no problem. So please ask him, when will I be able to leave this material world? Oh, is that it? Okay, I will ask. Oh, thank you. So then he goes on. And then little later, then he meets a cobbler. And the cobbler sees Narada Muni, very respectfully, invites him, his obeisances, worships him. And then he inquires, my dear sir, where are you going? I'm going to visit Lord Vishnu. Oh, that's so great. Could you please ask a question to the Lord on my behalf? Yes, why not? What would that be? Could you please ask, then when will I leave this material world? No, why not? So then Narada Muni goes on, and then he meets the Lord, and they have some nice time, conversation. Then Lord Vishnu, he's enjoying the association of Narada Muni. Narada Muni, he's in bliss being with the Lord. And then time to go, and then Narada Muni remembers, my dear Lord, I had two questions. Actually, this isn't my question. The two devotees, they were asking the question, So I would like to ask the questions on their behalf to you. I said, yeah, go on, ask. What is it? There is one Brahmana in one village there, and he is inquiring, when is he going to leave this material world? And Vishnu said, that will take a long time. Many, many lifetimes for him to be able to reach spiritual world. Okay. And actually there was a cobbler and he had the same question. Oh, the cobbler. Yeah. This is his last lifetime. He is, after this lifetime, he is going back to the spiritual world. What? But how is it that the Brahman, he's so learned, he knows all the scriptures, he knows everything. And so he is worshipping every day. But the cobbler, he is just minding his business. He is making shoes and like, how is it that he is more elevated than the Brahmana? And then the Lord said, okay, when you go, then they will ask, how everything was. They will ask about my answer. And they will also ask, what was I doing? So when they ask, what was I doing? Then you ask them, and you tell them that I was putting an elephant through the eye of a needle. What? Okay, if you say so, I'll do it. Fine. So then he goes down. And then he meets the Brahmana first. And then, wow, so nice to see you, my dear Lord. Okay, did you see Lord Vishnu? Yeah, I met him. What was he doing, my dear Lord? Well, I was a little waiting there because he was putting an elephant through a needle, through an eye of a needle. What? What is this nonsense? That's what I always say. People just create some nonsense. How is it possible? You know how the needle eye is so small and elephant so big. How is it possible? They are crazy. What? It's not possible. Okay. Yeah. And then Narada Muni goes and he sees the cobbler. Oh, my dear sir, you are coming from Lord Vishnu. How was he? What was he doing? Well, he was there, and then when I was there, then the Lord was putting an elephant through the eye of a needle. And the cobbler, wow, so wonderful. Only the Lord can do that. And Narada Muni, what, you believe it? He said, of course I believe it. The Lord can do anything, whatever he wants. Look, I'm sitting under this tree, and that was like a huge banyan tree. And that tree has so many fruits. I am sitting here, and the fruits are falling down. Each fruit has thousands and thousands of small seeds. The seeds are smaller than than poppy seeds. So, and in each of the seed, there's a tree like this. So then why wouldn't I believe that that small little tiny elephant can go through the needle of, through the eye of a needle? Of course it's possible. And then Narada Muni understood. So it's not the learning of the Brahmana which brings him back. It's the faith of a devotee. Right? And there are so many instances which the Lord proves. Govardhan. But then, depends on us. Actually, did it happen like that? Or is it the mythology? We should not have doubt. But there are people who have doubt. Non-devotees, they don't accept it. How is it possible? This is just some story for children. They cannot have the faith. They cannot develop the understanding of Lord's greatness. They cannot understand the greatness of the Lord. They cannot understand the greatness of His name too. When Haridas Thakur was discussing with the devotees the greatness of the holy name, then there was one Brahmana, and now he was doubtful. Describing just one chanting of the holy name can purify the whole universe. What's the potency of the holy name? It's unlimited. It's not possible. How can you say these things? So Haridas Thakur, he felt very, very sad. And he left the house. He didn't want to discuss anymore. But then the devotees there, they immediately took him away, Brahmana. But the damage was done. And later on, that Brahmana, actually Haridas Thakur, he left actually the whole village. And he came to know later that he developed leprosy, and I think he died of an offense. But Haridas Thakur, he didn't want to commit Nahaparat, preaching the glories of the holy name to a non-devotee. So, we have to be very careful. The glories, the treasure of the Lord, we have to keep among ourselves. But how are the people then going to understand? Right? Does that mean that we cannot preach the holy name? That we should not tell them to chant the holy name? No. In fact, we should be. We should encourage everyone to chant the holy name. We should encourage, and we should ourselves be chanting the holy name. There is no restriction on that. But the restriction on the explanation, that what's the potency of the holy name, that's there. Why? Because like the Brahmana, other non-devotees, when they hear something, they will just say, oh, this is some mythology. This is some religious belief which never works. And you have no way to prove it to them. Because they don't believe, so they cannot feel the difference. But if we chant the holy name properly, we have the faith in the Lord, we see the difference. We see the difference every time. But the faith must be there. No. The faith with surrender. In fact, the process of devotional service, Shraddha to Prema. Now, what is Prema? Prema is just full faith, fully developed faith. All the stages are various levels of surrender, of faith in the Lord. And Prema is fully matured. It's full surrender. With full faith. We see, Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion. Then he discusses the 6 attributes of surrender. So what are these? A devotee, right? First, he develops the surrender to the Lord, by understanding or rejecting what's not favorable for his devotional service, accepting what is favorable. He has belief that without the Lord, he is worthless, that he cannot do anything. But he has full faith that under the shelter of the Lord, then he can do anything for the Lord. So he is not that he's feeling that, okay, I can do anything and therefore, okay, I'm not going to do anything because, I cannot. I'm not fully surrendered, so I'm waiting for when I get surrendered. But it doesn't work like this. But he has full faith that if the Lord wouldn't give him the Shakti, the potency, the energy, the ideas, that he wouldn't be able to do anything worth it. That's the faith of a devotee. But what about the demons? The demons, they don't have that. They have exactly the opposite. Hiranyakashipu, how was he dependent on the Lord? Right? He was fully dependent on himself. And anything which would be done, and it's his. I mean, he arranged it. He built this. He has this. It's his arrangement. He rules this planet. He rules these places. Whatever he says, it happens. So he feels he's all powerful, and he gets the boons which he believed that makes him immortal. No fear. No other considerations for anyone or anything. But then, when he figures out, and as he was, in his mind, he knew that everyone is depending on Vishnu. But he believed that, he overcame that. But the problem in his mind still was there. He was afraid of Vishnu. So he was remembering, okay, but he's not here anyway, I'm the most powerful. He was convincing himself. So because of his being constantly meditating on Vishnu, even the wrong way, then Prahlad was born, who was pure devotee. And then it started. When he figures out that Prahlad is fully dependent on Vishnu and he is not accepting Hiranyakashipu as the superior or the supreme, then he got more scared. And then when he figured out that there is no way how to kill Prahlad, then he was devastated. But you see, now Hiranyakashipu makes all the arrangements and gets destroyed. Prahlad Maharaj, he doesn't do any arrangements. His only arrangement is that he always remembers the Lord. And nothing can happen. He's fully taken care of. He's fully situated in Krishna consciousness. No fear. He is Abhaya. But Hiranyakashipu, he is a lot of Bhaya. Very fearful. And then, he has a reason. So, how do the demons end? And how do the devotees end? So we should try to work on ourselves. Try to develop these good qualities, the divine qualities. And try, not as much as we can, to drop the demoniac. And it's not that, okay, one has some bad qualities, okay? So those are demoniac qualities. But what is the tendency? Do you want to develop these demoniac qualities and not live by those? Then you will be a demon. But if you want to purify these qualities, you want actually to develop the divine qualities, then you are not a demon. Then all the devotees, they have the tendency of the devotees want to develop the divine qualities. But sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes the anarthas are so hard to remove. So we should try by association, sadhu sangha. Try to help each other. We should try to help our children. Try to help whomever we can. Education. Proper application of devotional process. Following Guru Sadhu Shastra. It's not always so easy. But it's possible. And one thing we have to have now in our mind, and that is that why are we sometimes behaving the way which we know it's not good, but we do? How is it that we develop some bad habits, bad qualities? This is due to our anarthas. The anarthas are, by the Shastra, they are described as a seed of desire. They are in the heart. But we may not know. Like from the seed, you may not know what plant it's going to be. But when the anartha, it's planted, same like seed is planted in the proper field, it starts growing. The anartha is placed in proper situation, then it starts growing, the desire starts growing. And then we understand. But many times it's too late. Then the process of thinking, feeling, willing, and acting takes place. And we commit some nonsense. Even though we were not planning for it, we didn't want to do it. But that's conditioning. We are conditioned by the anartha. So our endeavor should be to remove the anarthas. Cheto darpana marjanam. That's what we should be endeavoring for. But now many of us, we come from a background, we come already with so many conditionings. Now, I see it also in our school. Many of the boys, they come with so many conditionings. And then that we are talking still like about young boys. It's to mold that false ego is still easier. For adult, no, it's more and more difficult. So much endeavor to get rid of our bad habits. But it has to be done. But more than focusing on that, then we should also focus on our next generation. How are we going to help our children? No, not many places are so nice. We see there are children, devotees' children, which are not doing so well, not properly taken care of. But yeah, some are given a lot of attention in the field of education, as a mundane education, but the training in character many times is neglected, and that's not good. So we should endeavor that this discrepancy that we work out on. And in fact, we should take care of our children from before they are born. That's what Srila Prabhupada explains so many times. The Garbharana Samskara. In Bhagavad Gita, in 16th chapter, then he talks about if you want to have your child to develop the divine qualities, then you should perform the 10 samskaras, starting with Garbharana Samskara. So that way then you help your child to come to the world with the least amount of anarthas in his heart. Everybody knows that the children, they are born and they are not innocent, but at the time being, then the anarthas are not matured. But once the puberty comes, then so many things come up. And we are very amazed. But if we help them to remove as many as possible of those bad samskaras from the heart, then we will give them a lot of credit, or you can say investment in their life, that their life can be easier, and that one can fulfill the duties of a parent to actually bring the child back to Godhead. Because that's Srila Prabhupada also talks so many times. We should endeavor, the parents should endeavor to bring the children back to Godhead. This is their duty. The teachers should do the same. And not just having children like cats and dogs. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. Because the animals, they don't care, but the humans should care. So, performing the samskaras, we help the children. And developing the character, trying to help the children to develop as much as possible, or as many as possible, of those divine qualities, then we also help them. We help them to remove the anarthas. And if the education starts from very young age, for the reason, so then if we remove or if we help to remove the anarthas from the heart of the child before he experiences them, then his sufferings throughout the life are much less. But if he already had experienced the anarthas in his heart, then it's more difficult. So we should put a lot of attention into small children, very small children, and then try to enthuse them to perform devotional service, to stay in the holy Dham, to do things properly so that they can purify themselves. And when they come to puberty, then they don't have to experience so many of those sufferings as we did. So, and that will be the difference then between the divine and the demoniac. The devotees, then they will gladly do that. Why? Because Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Krishna says that we should do it, so we should do it. Difficulty is, okay, I will ask somebody. I ask Guru, I ask Sadhu, I ask Shastra. But I'll figure out. Obstacle again? Okay, no problem. I'll figure out again. I'll work again and again. Once I'll find a way. Like when the ocean had stolen the eggs of a sparrow. And the sparrow, very determined. Okay, give me my eggs. No? Why should I? Okay, I will dry you up. And then he starts carrying the water in his beak. Little sparrow carrying the ocean water in his beak, and the ocean was laughing. Yeah. But then Garuda flew by and he saw a little sparrow and he's suffering. He's very determined to do that because he wants his eggs back. And then, okay, I'll help him. What's the problem? The ocean took my eggs and then doesn't want to give it back. So what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to dry the ocean up. Okay, is it happening? Well, so far not. Okay, I'll help you. And then Garuda said, look, give the eggs back, otherwise I will dry you up. And the ocean got scared. Because Garuda can do it. Oh, yeah, take it. I don't need them anymore. So, what are we going to do in situations like this? Devotional service means a lot of obstacles. Physical, mental, so many things. Like now it's so cold, right? But give it 3 months. And then what's going to be? Oh, I cannot exist. It's so hot. The fan on full and the current goes off. Oh, I'm finished. Now I'm finished because it's cold. Then I'll be finished because it's hot. Try to remember this cold, right? And then when the hot comes, and remember kind of like how you were enjoying the cold. So then, you cool down. And now you remember the summer from last year. It was quite hot. Matra sparšastu kontea, sitoshna sukha dukkha. They come. Summer, winter season come. But what should we do? Accept it as it is. Okay, it's cold. Dress up. Do something. But maintain your duties, whatever it is. And just go on. And then in due time it will change. The hot will become cold. Cold will become hot. There's a rain. From rain, then it will be dry. So many things. We have to survive for the moment. But survive means just perform our duties, focus on that, And if you want, just remember the time when it was, the opposite, so then that will make you more peaceful. And go on with the duties. So that's another quality which the devotee should have. And that is able to accept what comes. Then one can be undisturbed. Amanina. Just what comes, okay. Lord's arrangement. I don't have to do anything. The demoniac, they would think, okay, I have to change that. Right? Clouds are coming. It's going to rain. So then the demoniac will, okay, how can I make it so that it doesn't rain here? So then they shoot some rockets there, disperse some chemicals, and it rains somewhere else. Oh, we are in control of weather. Look at the weather now. What's happening in the world? So many disasters. There was a snow in Sahara desert. 40 centimeters of snow. America is freezing. Florida is freezing. Europe, it's hottest winter in many years. So what's going on? Oh, everything is fine. Don't worry, just enjoy. Go on enjoying. Don't bother with what's happening around you, right? And then things are fine. The Black Sea also froze last year. It did it, I think, like twice in 100 years or something like that. So many volcanoes, right? So many tornadoes, which when you actually put it together, you figure out that didn't happen for so many years like that. The intensity. In America, they have a flood, and then it froze. So like many cars got frozen in the ice of the flooded river. Now, how is it? And then now they have droughts, and then again flooding. And people think they're in control. It doesn't work. The only way how it works is we surrender to the Lord. And we have the greatest opportunity. Our Acharya says so. He's teaching us. We have the opportunity to be fully surrendered. So by the end of the life, here on the planet, we can go back to Godhead. Because we know that there is nothing satisfying over here. So that's what we can do. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes.
Well, you were mentioning the 10 samskaras.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Okay. So the first samskara is the Garbharana samskara. And that's actually it's called the seed giving ceremony. When the attempt is that the parents must be fully conscious, Krishna conscious, on that the act of the child producing. No, it's going to be as a devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada, he recommends basically to chant 64 rounds, read Bhagavatam before the union. The samskara itself is about just to remember the Lord. The samskara actually means impression on the mind, so that our consciousness can get changed. So if that happens, if the consciousness changes, then the child should be Krishna conscious. But you see, you cannot guarantee. You may guarantee your consciousness. You cannot guarantee your wife's consciousness, Like say case Maharaj Anga, pure devotee. When he was producing his child, I'm sure he was Krishna conscious, but if his wife wasn't. And then King Vena was born, a rascal. No, so you cannot guarantee. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he says, if I would know that all my children would be Krishna conscious, I would marry and I would have many of them. But then who can guarantee this to me? Nobody. So then he didn't get married. So that's the most important. And that's what Srila Prabhupada always talks about as the most important samskara. And then there are other samskaras done when the child is in the womb. Then in the first pregnancy, then there is a samskara which is pumsavanam. Pumsavanam. You can change the sex of the child, the gender. If it's done properly, it works. And I know cases actually it works. And even it's done early, but even at later stage, then I know one devotee, and they were sure that their child is a girl. They did the Pumsavanam, was a boy. And they did it like 6-7 months. So it works if done properly. Then the other samskaras are done for the health of the mother, for the health of the child, like jata karma. So that's for the health of the child. So the child also develops good qualities, focus, determination. So those are the samskaras, just to help him to develop the divine qualities. Then after the birth, then there is the Paushtika karma. It's done every month for the first 1 year. And that's done again for the health of the child. When the child is healthy, he can do devotional service with without great difficulties. It helps him. If he's sickly and like that, then obstacles are there and it's more difficult. Then there is a nishkramanam, then taking the child first out into the temple. So you go and see the Lord. You offer the child to the Lord. You show the Lord to the child. So that way, then it goes on. Then there is the hair cutting ceremony, right? The first grain. Then you have upanayanam for the boy. So upanayana means taking near to God. So then that's his beginning of education. And then the last samskara, it's vivaha. Then when they get married and they produce children. So those are the samskaras. Besides that, actually, it's a change of the consciousness, which is the most important. But it's also an opportunity for the community to have festival. These samskaras are celebrated in the community. A lot of feasting is done. It's a celebration. So another excuse for not having fun. See, the Vedic culture is taking care of all aspects of one's life. Yeah? Hare Krishna. Yes. You want to take the mic? Or? Okay. I can try.
He knows his children going to be Krishna conscious.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Yeah.
So he don't mind to get married or having 100 children. So why, if I have a faith in Varadhana Sanskar to bring Krishna consciousness, so why then Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur had a doubt that if you know all children.
He has no doubt, but how can he guarantee what the consciousness of the wife is going to be? So you may for yourself, or the wife may be Krishna conscious, but how can she guarantee that the husband is going to be Krishna conscious? Right? So what he was saying, he was unsure. But if a person cannot stay in Ashtika Brahmacharya, which he could, so he said it like that, and he had option. But if someone cannot stay as an Ashtika Brahmachari, then it will not be very conducive for his devotional service, devotional life. So then he gets married, he gets trained as a brahmachari, as upakurvana brahmachari, for a period of life, right? Maybe there is a vow for a certain amount of years. And then, with the proper training, he enters the Grihastha ashram, not Grihamedi, Grihastha. And in that Grihastha ashram, then he performs his duties perfectly. He does everything to produce, to protect the family, the wife, the children, to educate. But because he is doing everything what he is supposed to, it's very exhausting. And he may have thought that, okay, I'm going to enjoy in the Grihastha ashram. But already the brahmachari training should be geared to make him understand that it's not about the enjoyment, it's about your duties. But yes, in the Grihastha ashram, you will have certain possibilities which you don't have as a brahmachari. You will have more independence. You will have more ability to enjoy things. You will have your own place, which you can call your place. You will have more of the emotional side there, that if you don't feel, then the wife comes and starts patting on the head, and all these things which the man may need, and he doesn't get them in the simplicity of the brahmachari ashram, then he will be looking for the grihastha ashram. So he gets that, but then at the end of the grihastha ashram, when he does his duties perfectly, then he should figure out that I have put so much of energy into it, but what I got out of it, it wasn't really that much. So he did everything well, but he cannot say that if his children are going to be fully Krishna conscious or not. He puts effort. He gives them the best training. He does the best. But if they decide, okay, I don't want to practice, or not now, what can he do? But if he did his best, he is not a failure. He has nothing to regret. But problem becomes when he knows he failed. He did not give attention. He did not give the proper education. And the child turned to be a non-devotee, and he regrets, why did I do it like this? Why I didn't do it that time? Many years ago, I could have changed it. But now it's too late. And many people live with this guilt, and it's very disturbing. So if he does his duties properly, he doesn't have to live with this guilt. Maharaj Anga didn't live with this guilt. He tried to train Maharaj, King Vena. He did try. But when he figured out, he is a rascal. By the age of 12, he figured, I cannot do anything. I tried. Okay. Anyway, I'm just peg my bag. Not even bag. He didn't peg anything. He just walked out, into the forest, and nobody saw him again. He just renounced everything. He was able to detach himself. So then that's what Prabhupada talks about. At the end of the Grihastha ashram, the Grihastha life, one should be able to detach. Okay, I have tried it. I have put much effort into it. I didn't get much out of it. I'm not going to try it again. Forget it. And I take vanaprastha or sannyas. No, whatever. The children will take care of my wife, and then I'm going. Like Kardama Muni did. No. All recommended by the Shastra. And Kardama Muni, he was excellent husband. But, following his vows, he did. And that's celebrated, that's good. That's how it's supposed to be. But if one doesn't do it properly, so then one will figure out, well, okay, our marriage is not going very well. That's your fault, not my fault. Okay, I will divorce you and marry somebody else. With somebody else will be better with you. And then what happens? The same thing happens. Because it's always her fault, never my fault. And then go on 3, 4, 5, 6 times, get married, looking for the excellent enjoyment in the Grihamari ashram, and then once he's 80, he dies while having sex or whatever. Where is the Krishna conscious? He cannot be Krishna conscious. But if he figures out that, okay, our marriage is not going so well, okay, maybe it's also your fault, but it's also my fault. How can we overcome this difficulty? How can we solve it? What can we do? Look, we have children. If we get divorced, the children will suffer the most. We cannot get divorced. We have to do something. We have to properly show good example to the children. Let's solve our problems. Okay, I adjust something, you adjust something, let's live together and then do something together. But now people just, the examples from the Western culture is like, well, as soon as you don't like it, as soon as she's a little bit old, kind of like get some fresh one. It's so bad. Consideration for children. And who knows who is his own brother or sister, or they don't know who is who. Nobody knows. That's Varnasankara. That's disaster. And those you try to train, you won't be able to. So we have to first be responsible as parents. And the first responsibility is to have children and to bring them back to Godhead. That's our responsibility. And if we cannot do that, then we are not good parents. And if we did everything and still it didn't work out, then we have nothing to regret. We can fully surrender to the Lord and hope that the children, whatever education we gave them, the training we gave them, then later on, it will be useful to them. Like Ajamil. He was trained as a brahmachari perfectly. Then he left the pious life, and then basically the whole life he was living as a not good person. But at the end of his life, then he remembered the Lord due to his training in his childhood. So then we should also do maximum for the children to do. So then we can train them.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Granta Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande.